Hello, tonight on our program, former Minister of Energy Emmanuel Amakufibua blames exit of oil giant EXXONMOBIL from Ghana on poor management of the oil and gas sector by government. Ahead, we'll also examine new reporting that government's refusal to refund $4 million VAT pushed the oil giant away. Also coming up, city authorities here in Accra say they'll go ahead with planned relocation of spare parts traders from the Abosokai base despite protests.
To us, it is not cast in stone that we are going to Afienya, that is being bandied around in the press. That is not how it is. We are here to visit the place and make our own, choice.
This is Business Live. Thanks for being with us. We've got details right after this. Brent crude hitting the $70 mark. I will be having a conversation about that later in the program. But we want to begin with this story. City authorities here in Accra say they will go ahead with the planned relocation of spare parts traders from their Abosokai base. The traders have in the last few weeks accused their leaders of committing to the relocation without their consent. The leaders, however, insist they consulted the traders. My colleague Joseph Akable was at the spare parts hub and reports.
City authorities were joined by armed police and military men to undertake the cleanup exercise, which forms parts of the overall decongestion exercise that is underway. Some of the persons here who sell items, the spare parts, who more often than not are on this particular route, had their own thoughts about the exercise that is ongoing.
First, we have to think of the people who are here. They are living with their family. Now, when you sack him from the place he's selling, what will be his end? He'll get into stealing and robbery.
Look at over almost 25, 26 years. But to find new place to us, I can just say,
his main concern has to do with the relocation, and he says that there are people who have rented stores here, and so if anyone is suggesting that all of them would have to move from here, that is impossible and it will not happen. But for some of them to relocate, that is fine, but it would also depend on how the market situation is at that particular site.
I'll be 10 years.
The leadership of the Spare Parts Association have been responding to the concerns that have been raised by some of the members. They insist that majority of the members are actually in support of the decision to have them relocated from this side of town.
If they say it is too far, then I don't know where they are coming from, because it is 3 areas that has been proposed: Amasamai, Dahunya, and then Afienya. We are even yet to even visit the site and ascertain which one will be of relevance to us. It is not cast in stone that we are going to Afienya, that is being bandied around in the press. That is not how it is. We are here to visit the place and make our own choice. You understand? We have to put a lot of things into consideration before we come to a conclusion. So it is not cast in stone that, as people are saying, we are going to Afienya, we are going to Afienya. It is not like that. And we don't want people to create the impression that it is the government, and for that matter, the regional minister, who is forcing us to relocate. It is not like that. It is our initiative, and only they are throwing and facilitating, the program. They are throwing their support and facilitating the program for us. So people should not think that government is imposing something on us. Government, why not? This is what I'm telling you, that a general meeting was convened.
But yet they still say that they don't want to go.
And I'm telling you, you cannot achieve 100% efficiency in whatever you do. But if you achieve 60-65%, it is good. When the meeting was held here, about 80% acceded, to the project.
The MCE explains that this is an exercise that will help, and so that people should be committed to it.
Those we are taking off the streets, we've talked to the executives. You see, they can manage in front of, behind the gutters. We just want the road to be free. If you had come here yesterday also, you will see where we are.
Actually seen the place. They are always on the road, even virtually in the middle.
Yeah, so we are just directing them to manage and go behind the gutters, so that by the time we finish with Afienya or Dowena, they will all get a bigger place to go there. It will not be easy, but at least we must try for them to see that we for once we are really serious. You see, yeah.
And you are not worried about the possible political implications. I mean, we listen to the people. They say that, look, they don't want to move from this place.
Oh yeah, that's for that one. You get it. But when the political head, they get to know that you are doing a good job, people will go and talk or report. They will say, because the regional minister is the political head in the region. And he is leading this in conjunction with the assembly, myself, and the executive. So there's no cause for alarm.
And so the exercise continues to rid the city of filth, and also the long-term goal of relocating the traders here at Abosuokai. Reporting for Joy News, my name is Joseph Akable.
Now, the cost of living in the country could be going up significantly in the coming weeks. This follows a 13% increase in transport fares beginning this Saturday. Geography highlights other areas the hike will impact in the economy in the following report.
Looking at the structure of the economy, any marginal increase in transport fares could affect everything in the country. First, let's look at goods and services. From next Monday, the cost of carting some of these basic foodstuffs from the farm gates to major markets across the country will definitely be increased. Most traders may then be forced to pass on these adjustments to consumers. This should mean that the spending budget on some of these items will definitely be increased. Well, if you have enough disposable income, then this should not be a big concern. The increase will not only affect foodstuffs, but some raw inputs used by industries for production, a move that could also affect the cost of doing business in the coming months, thereby resulting in some items produced by these industries going up. But for most industry watchers, the big challenge is how to monitor those operators that are not members of the GPRTU and the GRTTC. These drivers may even go beyond the approved 13% effective this Saturday. This increase will in the long run affect inflation rate, which could also impact on your investment returns on your funds and even interest rates. But Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, recently noted that he doesn't think inflation rate could be affected badly, hence the decision to cut the policy rate to 13.5%. Well, if you thought that these hikes were too much to bear, coming on the back of the recent adjustments in taxes and fuel prices, well, pray that the utility companies do not have their way. Otherwise, utility tariffs could also be going up before the end of the third quarter of this year.
All right, we are turning to one of our top stories tonight. Former Energy Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa insists the country's oil sector is dying as a result of government's mismanagement of the economy. He says the country has not developed any new oil drilling wells over the last 4 years and insists EXXONMOBIL's decision to exit the country is because of government's poor management of the sector. Listen.
We see it will dry up and the industry will basically collapse. That's why I brought you this morning.
You asked a few questions.
I said, it is very possible that the general atmosphere here is not, they are not enthused about it. It is also true that you have to do a lot to attract people like EXXONMOBIL. And it means that we and the government, and I point to the government not because it's a political, but it is this government who is responsible for driving this. What exactly is government done? And I know that if you bring Ake and you give them all the concessions I've described, what is the point?
All right, that was the former Energy Minister there, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, addressing the press earlier in the day in Parliament. Well, let's speak with Fritz Moses, who is a researcher with the Institute for Energy Security. Fritz, great to have you on our program tonight. Do you agree with the former minister that EXXONMOBIL's exit is as a result of poor management of the oil sector? Hi, Fritz, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So do you agree with the former minister?
All right, so what we are looking at, or the impact of this, the EXXONMOBIL exit, our research is just in relation to what we think is that perhaps the reduced volumes in its production. Also, of course, so we are looking at the issue of tax exemptions that have come up, I think, somewhere in the past 24 hours. We think these are some of the issues that have culminated in the exit of EXXONMOBIL. What we can rely on mostly is the communication that would come from EXXONMOBIL itself as to why it has gone on to the exit from the Ghanaian petroleum exploration industry. We think that perhaps more communication should come from EXXONMOBIL for us to properly understand and know the reasons behind the exit.
Okay, and you have been speaking about this new reporting from EnergyNewsAfrica.com on why EXXONMOBIL may have exited. I just want to share that with our audience tonight. A story from EnergyNewsAfrica.com about why EXXONMOBIL exited the country. The director could pull up those slides for you as we share what EXXONMOBIL has been reporting. Just a moment, just as we get that for you. It says EnergyNewsAfrica.com can authoritatively report that the government of Ghana's refusal to implement VAT exemption granted in the Deepwater Cape 3 Points oil block petroleum agreement is the topmost issue which has triggered the American oil and gas supermajor EXXONMOBIL's decision to abandon the exploration activities in the West African nation. It goes on to say reliable sources within the country's energy sector indicated that the U.S. super major has paid about $4.2 million in VAT, despite the company being exempted from paying VAT as per the petroleum agreement. The statement also says, Article 12, Section 8 of the DWCTP petroleum agreement specifically provides that contractor, its affiliates and subcontractors shall not be reliable to pay VAT in respect of plant, equipment and materials and related services supplied in Ghana to be used solely and exclusively in the conduct of the petroleum deal. Now, Article 12, Section 6 further provides that contractors shall be exempted from any upfront payment and or refund requirement on any exempt taxes, duties, fees, and other imports of any kind. And the story says letters written by Deloitte and Touche, external consultant of EXXONMOBIL, and cited by EnergyNewsAfrica.com express the frustrations of EXXONMOBIL. Just as you say, we may have to hear from EXXONMOBIL itself as to why they exited the country. But you are sharing with us what you make of this reporting.
I mean, it's one issue that can it has a potential of causing an explorer to leave the country, because Exxon didn't come into the country long time ago. It was just 2018, and if after 3 years it's exiting, then it means there were several issues that it felt was not going their way that could have, but it didn't. And so we think that this letter, if it is
credible,
authenticated to be true from Deloitte, could, yes, exactly. It tells a lot, or it tells a lot as to what our petroleum industry, especially in the exploration and production industry, the upstream sector, is actually experiencing. And we think such things, if you want to encourage investors to come into the country, EXXONMOBIL is one of the largest oil companies in the world, and such activities would not go ahead to ensure investor confidence in our upstream sector. We think these are some of the things that we should be avoiding going forward.
And how much do you think we just may have lost by way of EXXONMOBIL's exit?
Exactly. We have actually lost greatly because the entire process would have to start all over again, looking for new operator and getting them to even start to change and all. And now, obviously, we are seeing the shift away from the fossil fuel industry. Investment is moving away from hydrocarbons, looking into the renewable energy sector. And of course, EXXONMOBIL has also had its own share of activists and climate change activists. Operations on their operations that's causing what they say is causing. It's contributing to the climate change that we're experiencing now. And so, going forward, as itself has said, it will be looking at ways to cut down on these operations that would hurt the climate, and of course also help in their contribution to the net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Going forward, investors will also be looking at these events that has happened. If you are going to get new investors to come into the country, the upstream sector, they'll be looking at what has happened and advising themselves accordingly. That's going forward. We should be looking at ways as a country to make operations in the country more inviting towards investors. If we had some external or some big companies already working in the country, we think such relations should continue as we look at developing our various oil fields in the near future.
Fritz, let's turn to BOST and news that it returned to profitability in 2020. It recorded a profit of 31 million cedis for the year 2020, despite forecasting a loss of about 86 million cedis amid a pandemic. I want you to listen to Managing Director Edwin Provençal speak at a media engagement organized by the State Interest and Governance Authority.
In terms of the management performance for 2020, we budgeted to make a loss of 86 million cedis. Through the effort of the staff and of the board, we were able to make a profit of 31 million cedis. And so going forward, the next 3-4 years, the focus is to enhance operational excellence, hold people accountable, and aggressively grow the business. By aggressively growing the business, we mean, as we speak, we didn't have exports. So if we decide to export aggressively, this is an existing product in a new market, so we grow the business. We also don't have some new products like LPG. So if we branch into LPG, selling LPG as well, and transporting and distributing LPG, that is a new product in an existing market.
That's impressive, Fritz, isn't it? And I'm wondering, how can BOST sustain these gains as well?
All right, so Darrell, yes, if the details were provided by the CEO of BOST are actually accurate as they are. Can you hear me?
I can. Please go ahead.
Okay. So yes, as I was stating, if the details were provided are actually accurate, because in the past we've had conversations from BOST saying BOST had made profits and was still expecting an increment in its margin in the petroleum price border. And so if after independent checks and this actually comes out true, then it's actually indeed a great feat achieved by BOST. Going forward, what we must look at, of course, is what the CEO has stated itself, looking at that alternative fuels that it can be getting into to ensure that production and, of course, revenue mobilization at that institute or agency is also going up.
Okay, we heard him talk about venturing into the storage of liquefied petroleum gas. My final question to you tonight has to do with the fact that Brent crude has hit the $70 mark. We've seen that this week, and then there are fears that this could translate in the cost of oil prices locally. For how long do you think we are going to be seeing this? What's your projection? Hi, Fritz. Okay, I think that we may have lost Fritz there. What a shame. I would certainly revisit this story another time. But thanks very much to you, Fritz, for joining us for a discussion on developments in the energy sector. So many things happening. You're watching Business Live. We're taking a short break. We have some more stories for you when we come back. It's a Thursday, time to check who has gotten lucky. Premier Lottery Company 787 has recorded yet another big jackpot in Obuasi in the Ashanti region, with the winner taking home 936,000 Ghana cedis.
Adade Krantin, who emerged the winner of 936,000 cedis, was so surprised as 787 team drove all the way to Obuasi to present Francis with his prize. With so much excitement, Francis admonished Ghanaians to partake in the 787 draw, as it is the surest way to riches.
I got to know about star 78 ash through my phone. They sent me a message that there's a lottery going on, so I should participate. I started participating, I think, about a year ago. Sometimes I will take, let's say, about 200 Ghana, and the results will come. I will not win anything. I will win. Sometimes I will win 10 cedis, 20 cedis. So it got to a time I lost hope that I was even going to stop staking it. Then I said, no, I still have confidence that I will win one day. When I was watching the Chelsea football match, then I got a message that I've won the jackpot, which is 916,000 Ghana cedis. Then the topmost price of 20,000 Ghana cedis. So together making it 936,000 cedis. Immediately I saw the message, I got a call from their head office to congratulating me.
Richard Akotobanfo, head of customer experience, had this to say.
This year, I believe we have all seen it all with star 787 hash. Early this year, there was a jackpot value of 101,444,000. Late last year, we had a record of 980,000 plus. This very Saturday, which is today, Wednesday, we are celebrating a jackpot win of 916,000 Ghana cedis and a unique prize of 20,000 Ghana cedis, together 936,000 Ghana cedis. Minya, if you are watching me from home, this is your moment to win the new jackpot value, which is 100,000 Ghana cedis this very Saturday. All you have to do is to load your mobile wallet and then dial star 787 hash, buy a ticket as less as 5 Ghana cedis, and if you want to win bigger, you buy more small ticket, I would advise you buy the full house package, and you can stand a chance to transform your life in just a twinkle. So take your opportunity now, dial star 787 hash on your phone, and then play to also change your life.
And that's our program tonight. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Let's just run you through some of the stories there tonight. Momo transactions are stripped checks by 232 billion Ghana cedis in just 4 months. Also, Ghana's oil industry strong and formidable despite EXXONMOBIL exit. That's according to Doma East MP. I know somebody who would not agree with that. That is Emmanuel Amakofuba, who just said the company exited because of poor management of the oil and gas sector. myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow.